life.
What's up, lifers? Hope y'all doing good. So I wanted to talk with you guys for a minute real quick. And I don't know if you guys been hearing what's going on, but I wanted to bring it to your attention, kind of maybe do my little part in this whole thing that I feel needs to be done. But before I explain what's going on, I want you guys to understand this. Look, I'm a spiritual person, not a religious person, but a spiritual person. I'm someone who has been working on myself and really just trying to, better myself for the world and for other people around me. So I don't sit around judging people. Yes, every once in a while judgments pop up, but those are things that I'm working on getting rid of because I understand that we as a people, we're all in this together. No matter what, we are experiencing something that is way above and beyond what we see, feel, touch, smell, and things like that. That's a whole nother subject. But I do want to speak on shit that I sometimes feel, is unjust. Or I feel that, an attention or an awareness needs to be brought to it. And so basically what it is this, man. There is some shit going on the internet where people, mainly youngsters, are going around assaulting elderly folk who are just out there on the streets trying to make some money to feed their kids, their family, or whatnot. And these youngsters that are going around doing this, assaulting these people and posting it on the internet, they're doing it as if it's some kind of trend or something that is cool to do. And so I wanted to speak on that, maybe do my part in this whole thing. So I want y'all to know that any action that people take against elderly folks that is in violent way or just robbing them or anything like that, or hurting elderly folk, people who can't really just defend themselves in that way, who aren't involved in crime or gangs or anything like that. I think that if you over there assaulting these people and you're doing these type of things and robbing them and things like that, man, you got shit fucked up. And that's just really how I feel. It's just my opinion. But growing up as a youngster, I didn't grow up like in this hardcore neighborhood or anything like that, or as a hardcore gangbanger or anything like that. But when I was growing up, we knew, me and my homies knew, we just didn't do that to people, you know what I'm saying? And if we ever heard you were out robbing old people or assaulting old people and things like that and just doing shit like that, man, we bring you to business, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how it goes. We wouldn't, dude, that wasn't something that we respected, you know? And maybe I'm just an old head, maybe I'm just old folks or whatever. But, I just didn't feel like you really earning stripes by choking a corn lady out and robbing her, or even with the latest situation where these guys went up to this guy to buy something from the street, and one of them slapped the dude, and they think this shit's funny, and they're throwing up their gang and shit like that. And you know, I don't understand that. But I will say this, man. That last video where these kids slapped that dude and they were throwing up their gang signs and shit. I want motherfuckers to know, man, I done time with that particular gang, and I got some homies from that neighborhood. And I look at it as this, man, those cats that I know from that area, man, they would never approve of no shit like that. You know what I mean? And you know, it's kind of a disgrace for you to sit here and walk around assaulting old people that can't hurt you back. You know what I mean? And acting like you out there putting in work. Man, that shit don't make sense. But whatever, to each his own. If that makes sense to you youngsters these days, where you think you earning stripes that way, whatever, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you right now, man, I don't think prison's gonna respect it. If you one of those cats that's gonna end up in prison and you be like, yeah, I choked out the corn lady and robbed her, I think motherfuckers are gonna look at you kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? I would, and I know my homies would. We look at you hella funny. So, I don't know, man. I hope that you youngsters will see this shit, because this shit need to stop. It really needs to stop. And it's starting to turn into a whole race thing, and I'm not even on that race shit. I'm not trying to even go there with that shit, man. This is some youngsters acting hella dumb, real talk, and they need to be checked, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying anything bad needs to happen to them or anything like that, but what needs to happen is that there needs to be some kind of word that is spread out there where, hey, this shit ain't cool. You know what I mean? Like, if you get caught doing this, you know what I'm saying, you finna get DP'd. You know what I mean? It's kind of like one of my homies, he wanted to do this whole thing about everyone should go to prison. And I get what he's saying, you know what I mean? Because the politics, if the politics were played out here, none of this shit would happen. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about on some race shit. I'm talking about some real shit. I'm talking about, man, you can't be going around, you know what I'm saying, attacking and assaulting and robbing elderly folk. You can't be going around beating up women and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Or you can't be preying on the innocent. You can't be doing stupid shit. You can't be snitching. You can't be doing all that shit. You know, same thing with the child molesters. Ain't no child molesters popping off around here. You know what I mean? Anybody talking about raping somebody or anything like that, you know what I mean? You ain't cool. You all bad. So that's what I mean. Like, I don't know where it's gone. How generations have changed to where it's gone to where y'all don't even have no respect or no rules for yourselves, and you think it's cool to hurt innocent people. I remember when gangbangers would, they would they would get together with their folks, and if they wanted to go do something, to get into some shit, they would go to the other side of town or the other side of the city to get into it with their rivals, not go rob elderly folks and shit and pick on the innocent. If you in that life, then why don't you fuck with people that are in that life who are your enemigos? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that you think you can go and choke an old lady out or slap an old man, you know what I'm saying, and put it on Instagram or put it on YouTube or whatever, thinking that shit's fly? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, like I said, maybe it's just me, you know what I mean? But I think of it as that being my dad or someone who's elderly in my family. I think about that could have been my mama, you know what I mean, getting choked out on the street. And man, I'm not gonna play with you, you know what I mean, if that was the case. So I just don't understand, why people do things like that, Well, don't get me wrong, I do understand, I know that motherfuckers is lost. So, it is what it is, you know what I mean? But we as leaders, if you call yourself a leader or whatever you call yourself, or as a grown folk or OG or whatever, you need to be speaking up about that shit, you know what I'm saying? Especially if that's your community, you need to really, be saying, hey man, to all you motherfucking youngsters out there attacking these elderly folks and shit like that, I don't give a fuck what race they are, you in the wrong, you know what I mean? But it doesn't seem like anybody's telling these cats they in the wrong. So I just wanted to hop on here and bring that up, maybe do my part, bring a little bit of awareness, so that, we all can start coming together. See, that's the thing that a lot of people don't notice. A lot of youngsters don't notice, but we all up under the same umbrella, the same roof. We're basically all considered, consumers, a lost cause, dumb people, whatever you want to call it. But, we as citizens that are living here, we're nobodies to the system. And so for you to be tearing down your community and tearing down, people who live in your area and things like that, and spreading fear amongst people, robbing people and doing these bad things to others, you're just biting into the bullshit. You don't even realize it. You are just ruining, you're ruining anything for us, any steps forward for all of us. Real shit. What you're doing is you taking us back to the 90s, with that bullshit. And LA is one of those spots, man. This is where a lot of this shit's happening. And LA is infested with gangs. And so, you know, these types of situations can turn into something pretty bad for a lot of people. And that's what we want to avoid. You know, we want people to understand, like, hey, man, these youngsters can be checked and brought up the right way. You know, you motherfuckers that are adults, you know, start telling these kids this shit is wrong. You know what I'm saying? And if you see videos like that, don't even post that shit on your platform. That shit gets no play. That's how you do it, man. Don't give that shit no play, man. Shut that shit down. Be like, man, that's just weak. We ain't fucking with it over here. All right. So I hope y'all, you know what I mean, understand what I'm trying to say here. I'm not saying anything bad about nobody. Just want, you know, awareness brought to this whole situation, because it could get worse. Things could start getting worse, and it's time for us to start speaking up. So you know what it is. Stay the fuck out of trouble.